So right now, how many people, by show of hands or thumbs up in the chat, uses a WordPress website currently? AJ does, okay, and the other AJ does, okay. So Andrea, Suresh, and MJ. Suresh does use one, fantastic. So what I'm going to be going to today is I'm going to be showing you two different WordPress websites. One that is actually is very basic, has basically nothing on it. And then I'm going to show you my current one for Optimal Performance Academy. So I'm going to try to cover this as if you are not that familiar with WordPress. So bear with me for those of you that are experienced. However, for those that you that are experienced, we're going to be going into a lot more detail as well. So I want to make sure that everybody is on the same page in this training. Now, whenever you create a WordPress website, what you're basically doing, you're going to be going to your hosting company, regardless if it's GoDaddy. I use SiteGround. You could use HostGator. You could use Bluehost, or whatever one that it is. And what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to install or download and install on the platform. And when you do that, you're going to be able to. That's where you're going to put in your username and your password on your hosting company's platform. Then what's going to happen is then it's because here is my where's it at? Okay, so I'm going to go to my basic website that has nothing on it for the most part. It's tridentinvestmentsllc.com. That's it right there. It's a very basic, very basic to the bone website. When you're going to be logging into WordPress, most likely what you're going to be doing is you're going to tridinvestments.com, and then you're going to put in WP-admin. Okay. And actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign out real quick, just so you guys can see the process. So when you're logging in, you actually get a login screen, and I'm sure well, for whatever reason it's not logging me out, but you'll come to a login screen where you put in your username and password, and then you're going to land on something like this. For those of you that are experienced with WordPress, you will see there's almost nothing here on the left-hand side, and there's nothing across the top. When you start using WordPress, you're going to be using these things called plugins. A plugin is like an app for your smartphone. The more plugins that you have, the more stuff, the more clutter you're going to have over here on the left-hand side, or you may have some shortcuts up here on the top bar. Now, here's an example of here's an example of my website, the Optimal Performance Academy. I'm going to go ahead and log in. It's probably why let me log in, because I was logged in on another screen. So you'll see that this is my stuff. You see on here on the left-hand side, since I have so many more plugins, when I scroll up and down, you'll see I have a lot of things on the left-hand side because I have a lot of plugins. I've got a lot of things across the top as well. Now, when you start using, like say, Yoast SEO, and we'll talk about it in a moment, you'll start getting more and more stuff here on the left-hand side. Now, so the main things that you need to be aware of on any website is where it says post, or you will see that you have your dashboard, which gives you this, which you see here in the center of the screen. Now scroll it up and down, so you'll have a few very basic things here. The next thing is going to be what's called posts. This is going to be a post or going to be your blog post, and that's where we're going to be spending most of our time. Below that, you have media. Media is where you upload your images as well as like any kind of PDFs. So and even videos. I would not suggest having videos, but in your media file. But this is where all your media files are. Pages. This is where all your web pages. And then if you go all the way, start going further down, plugins. This is where you can access all of your plugins. And then you will have appearance as well as settings. We're going to touch a little bit about the settings here in a moment, because this is going to be very, very important for later on. Now, just so that we understand the difference between a post and a page is going to be going back to my my Optimal Performance Academy website. This is my home. Once it loads, this will be my home page. So essentially, everything's on the home page are going to be the separate pages that you create. These pages are going to have footers at the bottom. It's going to also have all your menu items at the top. So these are standalone pages. This is how your structure of your website works. When you start creating a blog, your blog is going to go into, essentially, this is a blog page, and then these are all the individual blogs that you're going to be that you're going to have. So they will show up here, and then you can set the number of words that are going to show as a precursor, and then I will show you how to create the images and everything else for that blog post, and then how you can actually optimize it with Yoast SEO. So a blog is essentially, it just has that one function. It's just to give content, while a page you may have multiple links in there. You may have multiple call to actions and other things like that. So I want y'all to make sure you understand the difference between a blog post and a regular page. So when we are getting into the post, so let's go ahead and look at the post. So whenever I click on post, this is going to show me all the blog posts that I've done. Now, you will notice if I go back to Triton, since I have not done any posts there yet, it will look very, very basic. You see, you have the title, the author, the categories that you're going to be giving it, and tags that you'll be giving it later on, any comments that people have done on that page, as well as the date as when that page was created. When you start adding in Yoast SEO, you're going to get some more columns. You're going to be getting this this green light column. You're going to be getting this little scribe column, and you'll get these other ones as well. So these are going to be additional features that you're going to be getting once you upload Yoast SEO. Now, before we get started, now this is something that you need to be very well aware of whenever you're working with your posts. When you first are starting to write your first blog, is going to be, we want to go to the settings first. Inside the settings, we'll go to the general settings. You could call this whatever you want. However, one of the things that you want to do is, as you're scrolling down, making sure you got the right languages. How do you want your date formats to show up? Usually the defaults are going to be okay. Now, the time format can be dependent upon how you want it, capital, lowercase letters, military time, or do some kind of custom. The one thing that we're going to cover right now is this thing called permalinks. A permalink is going to be, how does your blog show up? Inside that permalink, as an example, the default is usually going to be post name. So in the case of the Trident Investments, this one, if I had it like this, any blog that I have would be tridentinvestments.com / and then the name that you give to that blog. However, the thing is, you could, if you start writing a lot of blogs, you're going to have to be careful that your blogs and your pages don't overlap each other. So my suggestion is, especially if you haven't started out yet, is to actually go under what's called a custom structure. And then I would say the name of the post, which is essentially the same as the one above. However, my suggestion is probably to put the word blogs in front of it. So now it's going to create, / blogs in front of that. So that if by doing that, any blog that you have is going to be in this subdomain under the blogs folder. Okay. The thing is, if you want to set this up as early as possible. Yesterday, I decided to on the Optimal Performance Academy, I actually decided to get my post and go ahead, and I already had like 15 of them. If I go under settings and permalinks, I switched them over. What that means is that the URL is not, let's say if I wrote a blog and I call it AI, and I had optimalperformanceacademy.org / AI, that was the old name. But when I put this blog's subfolder in front of it, then that meant that any link that I had that was coming back to my website to AI, now that link is not going to work if they're coming back to look at my blog. So everything, if you decide to change this later, you have to remember that every single link that you have in all of your blogs may have changed. So this is something that if you're going to, whatever you're going to put it under, you want to make sure that you are it's something that you're okay with for the rest of eternity of your website. So this to me is probably one of the most important things that some people tend to gloss over, especially if they're just starting out, is how is that blog going to show up? And I'm going to show you an example of that. Let me say I'm going to pick this one here, crafting an effective tagline. And I click on it. Notice the word blogs was right there. So so all my URLs on all my posts got updated. And if I was referencing another link in my website, let's say if this was a link to another blog, then I'll have to go in there and change that link to have the blog's subfolder added on. So this is something, again, you want to make sure that that you set up from the very beginning. And again, one of the main reasons this is important. If I was just going off the post name, and then I wanted to create a page that had the same link there, that page and post would not overlap. They will conflict with each other. So by putting it into a separate folder, it's going to give you more options on your post name for your pages. Okay. Any questions so far? Because I just want to make sure. I'm going to a little bit technical right now on this. Any questions at this moment in time? Nope. Andrea or MJ? Now, whenever you are creating a post, whenever you're creating a post, at the very top, you're going to have an image that represents that post. Even on your blog reference page, that image is going to be there. Now, one of the things I do strongly suggest is to make sure all of your images are the exact same size, that they're the exact same dimensions. I want to show you an example of another one of my websites where I'm trying to get, okay, so where I'm trying to get the blogs to all appear the same size. So I'm going to go under here where it says articles. So you'll notice back in 2000, like 2 or 3 years ago, I wasn't following the image being the same size. Do you see how these things are off match with each other? Okay, and if I even go down here, so you want to make sure for consistency and for to make your website look as pretty as possible, you want to keep these as the same size. And I'm going to show you how to do all of that here and just in the next 2 or 3 minutes. So this is how you do that. One of the places that you can go and do this in is go through a website known as Canva. And my suggestion is that whenever you are going to pick a standard size for any of your images, you're always going to want to use what is known as presentation 16:9. That means the image is going to be a 16:9, or in this case, you can see it's 1920 pixels by 1080. But just go with 16:9. If you're doing a PowerPoint presentation, the PowerPoint 16:9 slide. If you're using a laptop, your laptop screen is a 16:9. So I like using the same way, the same dimensions that most people are going to be viewing this. If you get your cell phone and hold it in landscape mode or horizontal mode, that's essentially a 16:9. So when we're creating your images, you want to make sure that they are 16:9. Now, the place that you get your images is also very important. Whenever you are writing a blog and you're going to be putting an image on your blog, there's 3 types of images, or 3 or 4 types of images that you can use. Number one is a picture that you took yourself, where you have all the rights to that image. The second is to go to a place like Shutterstock and you buy the image. So you can go and log in and then you can start buying images. Getty, maybe some of you that watch the news, you will see that this website is referenced a lot, especially even in the newspapers, is Getty Images. Whereas this is another place where you can go and buy images. You're buying the rights to those images. However, if you're writing a lot of blogs, this is going to become very, very expensive. So if you're not a good photographer, then I would suggest you go to one of 4 different websites where you can actually obtain images that are known as royalty free. That means you can use them in your publications, in your blogs, in the covers of your book, in the covers of your programs, whatever it is. These you want to go to one of these four different websites. The first one, the one I like the best for me personally, is one that is known as Unsplash. This is unsplash.com. I've probably downloaded over 1,000 images here over the past 9 to 12 months. Because of that, and I'm doing this as a tangent, as a side note. If I were to go to my go over here, because I download so many images, I actually contributed myself 190 images to the pool. So I've actually, these are pictures that I've taken myself. I doctored them up a little bit, and then I uploaded them to Unsplash so that somebody else can download those images and use in their promotional material. So this is my give back to show you how much this is been going on. These are my stats as it is for the last 30 days. In the last 30 days, there's been 134,000, almost 135,000 views of my images, and 885 of my images have been downloaded. I started really using this in April of 2022. So if I go back to all time, I have nearly 2.5 million views and just shy of 12,000 downloads. So I mean, I'm right now, I'm looking for the time when I will see somebody promoting something online and I see them using one of my images. So this is my give back. But to get back on track of the topic, on unsplash.com, what you do is you just up here in the search bar is you put in you can put it down here in this big search bar near the bottom, or this one in the top left-hand corner. So AJ, I'm going to throw you under the bus a little bit. Let's say if you're going to be writing a blog right now, tell me the main topic of what your blog would be about.
Your business mission.
I can hear you.
Your business mission.
If that one more time, I think your microphone was just warming up. I was going to type it in. Okay. Your business mission. Okay, so I can type in the word business. Okay, as an example. So the thing is now I'm typing the word business, and these are images that the photographer has put as one of their tags for their business. Now, if I'm scrolling down, AJ, just give me a thumbs or hands up when you see something you like. Which, this one? This one? Okay. Now, before here's the thing. Well, first of all, if it says Unsplash Plus, that means you're going to have to pay for it. So that, unless you're going to be paying for it, then you wouldn't want to use that. And we're not going to use this one as an example. And remember, whenever you're looking at these images, remember the final format, your image is going to be 16 by 9. It's going to be in landscape mode. So I would probably pick something that's more squarish or in landscape mode already. If I were to go with this image to make it landscape, that means I'm going to have to really, really zoom in, or I'm going to have a border around it. I'm going to go ahead and pick another one since he said business vision. Let's say, I'm going to go and pick this one. Okay, just out of. So as you can see, by just clicking on it, this makes the image a lot bigger. And there is this download button up here on the top right-hand corner. You can always do the save image as. I would say, please don't do that. I would say always hit the download button, because this is going to give that person, that photographer, the credit that it was downloaded. So it's kind of like the whole thing of karma. So I'm going to hit the download button, and you'll see that it showed up down here as my downloads. I'm going to get this image and scroll it up to the left-hand side here. And I'm going to go back to Canva, and I'm going to upload that image to a 16 by 9 format, because I'm going to force it to be a 16 by 9. It may already be in that format, but let's assume it's not. We hit the create a design, presentation 16 by 9. And then I'm just going to slide this image over in the middle of the white space. Now in Canva, the white space is your 16 by 9, whatever you want to call it, canvas. And all you need to do is actually stretch this until the white edges are masked. You can see I'm going to have to, I'm zooming in just a little bit, just so that it will fit. And then I'll zoom to the white side. So none of the white canvas is still available. And you'll notice her head is partially cut off, but also I like the fact that she's holding the pad here. So we can slide the image. We can slide the image up and down as necessary, but but in the end game, I want to have, to me, her pad there is more important than the very top of her head. So once you're done with that, with that image there, the next thing you want to do is to go hit the share button. Normally you're going to have to scroll down just a little bit, and then there's a button that says download. When you do a download on these presentation things, the default is always going to be a PDF. It's always going to be that way. And it's not, and that is definitely not what you want to use, because you want to save it as a picture. Okay, you can go with a JPEG or PNG. I usually say go with JPEG, because with the JPEG it's going to be decent quality, and it's perfect enough for your blog. If you need something that's going to be high resolution, then you go with the PNG version. But let's just go ahead and pick JPEG. And this purple download button comes up. Hit the download button, and then a status bar will show that it's going to be downloaded. And once it's done, it's going to be down here. Now, I will actually go ahead and move this one to the background as well. And just so I don't get things confused, I'm going to delete the original picture. So going back to your blog, let me see here. Now you can upload that picture to your media files, because it's going to be the image that you're going to be using inside of your blog. So let's go ahead. I'm going to write this blog as if I'm doing it from the Trident website. So since I have no images there, so let's go ahead and go to media, and you will know in here I have no items. At this point, I can just hit add new, bring the image over, and at that point it's done. So now we've got the image for that blog. Now you may be going through Unsplash. You may say, no, I just can't find anything. And I mentioned it's a little bit ago that there's 4 different royalty-free websites. Unsplash is one of them. A second one that you could use is known as Pexels. Now, most likely, and I've not seen this before, I've not really looked, but the photographers that load their images up to Unsplash most likely are not going to load it up to Pexels. They're not going to create 2 accounts and be on 2 different platforms. It's unlikely. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen. It's unlikely that's going to happen. And so you can do the same thing here. You can do the same thing here. I can type in, let me look for the word business. So you can see these images don't look anything like the other ones that we saw earlier. And then you just pick the image that you like the best. Maybe you want one with people in it, or maybe you prefer something that's with just computer objects in it. So that is going to be all up to you. Now, if you're not finding anything on Pexels, there's another one that's called FreePic. So this is a third website that you can actually download, or that you can get images from. Now, I don't know if y'all noticed this, but it says log in the top right-hand corner. On Unsplash, I have an account, so I'm always logged in. On Pexels, you will see that I do not have an account. So all of these are free accounts. You do not have to even join them if you don't want to. So FreePic is the same way. So you can look for whatever you want to look for. Oops, I didn't spell it right. So for this one, these are some additional images that you could use. Now, a fourth website, which I've used a little bit, is known as Pixabay. Now, Pixabay is great because not only can you download photos, but you can also do illustrations or vectors. So if you rather have something that's going to be look like somebody drew it, then you make say, let me type in and say business, And then instead of saying all images, let's go to illustrations. And because these are not going to be found on Unsplash. So maybe you prefer illustrations as your backdrop. Now, if you see anything that has all these little squares, usually that means that the background is invisible or it's transparent. So whatever your background that you're putting it on, it's going to show through. Now, with Pixabay, you do have to be a little bit careful because sometimes, like the first row are going to be sponsored images from iSight. These are ones you're going to be paying for. So make sure that you only go after the ones that are the royalty-free section. Okay, and you do the same thing just at the download button. So those are your four websites as far as for royalty-free images: Unsplash, Pexels, Pixabay, and FreePic. Any questions so far? Okay. So now let's go ahead and get into plugins. And what is a plugin? So a plugin is essentially it's like an app for your phone. Now, when we are going to be talking about plugins, I'm going to give you guys a few different plugins that you're going to want to use or have as you're getting started. And this is mainly because we're talking about that you're going to be writing a blog. So let's go ahead and look at plugins. As you can see, I have only my hosting company is called SiteGround. I only have 3 plugins on my Trident platform. Of course, Andrea. So here are some plugins that you're going to definitely want to take a look at. The first one, so what you do is you just go hit the add new button, and then you want to search plugins. I'm going to go ahead and get Yoast SEO because that is what we're here for. So I'm just going to type in the search engine of Yoast SEO, and you'll see here's Yoast SEO, here's Rank Math SEO, and all-in-one SEO. Now, the one thing about like SEO plugins is you do not want to have more than one turned on at the same time. You may have them downloaded, but you do not want them to be activated or active at the same time. Yoast SEO is considered one of the top ones on the market as far as the free version goes. Now, Yoast as well as all-in-one SEO do have a free version, which is very powerful, and they have a paid version. Rank Math SEO is very, very powerful, but it's only the paid version. So if you're going to go the inexpensive route, I would say maybe go ahead and install both of these, but don't activate them yet. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the install button. Now, before I do that, WordPress changed how you look at plugins. It used to be able to show you where you can see graphs, see if it's a good plugin or not. However, right now, all they have is this little button that says Learn More. So before I download this, and before you download any plugin, you always want to look at this Learn More. And this is going to pop up. It's going to have these 6 tabs. This is description, installation, FAQ, changelog, screenshots, and reviews. The main things I want you guys to look at is what is known as the description and the reviews. And then we're also going to be looking at some of the data over here on the right-hand side. Since Yoast SEO is one of the most powerful plugins out there. Oops, I didn't mean to go down that front. It's one of the most powerful plugins out there. I'm going to look over here on the right-hand side. Notice 5 million active installations. Out of that, it's got for the most part, a 5-star rating based on the last 27,575 reviews. The thing is with plugins is that you want to make sure that it has close to a 5-star, and it has several thousand reviews as well as several thousand installations. Because the one thing about plugins, and part of the negative thing about WordPress is that, and I'm sure AJ probably understands this, is that there are sometimes plugins that do not like each other. They're not compatible, and they will knock down your website. You may get what's known as the white screen of death, or you can't even log into your account, and you've got to call your hosting company like GoDaddy to help you go through your your account on their platform to try to get this thing rectified. So you don't want to just download a plugin just because it's cute and funny and it has three reviews. You just do not want to do that. So Yoast SEO, as you can see, is very active. So I'm going to go ahead and say I trust this one. I'm going to go ahead and hit the install button. And just for the, I'm not going to activate it yet. Please do not activate from this screen. The next one I'm going to go in and download is or install is this all-in-one SEO. I'm going to do this one just to give you a comparison later on. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the learn more. And once it loads up, there we go. This little site cursor is a little small. So you will see here that this has 3 million installations. It's got a 4.5-star review based upon the last 3410. So as you can see right now, Yoast is has a much better review record than does than all-in-one SEO. But I'm going to go ahead and install this. Whenever you're working with plugins, you have to not only install them, but you also have to activate. We're not going to activate these things yet. I'm going to give you 2 more or 3 more plugins for you to use. Close that. The next one is, and these are just recommendations, but the next one I'm going to give to you is known as one-click accessibility. And click on that. Now, the one-click accessibility is this one here with the white guy on a blue button. And what this one is, AJ, do you know what this one does? So this is going to help you with what is known as your ADA compliance. This is when somebody that comes to your website and because websites are now they're getting more and more strict at having to be ADA compliant. That means if somebody goes to your website that's blind, they need to be able to access your website and understand what your images are showing. So the one-click accessibility, it is good to have this right from the get-go. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the learn more so we don't make a habit of not. So with the version of website that I currently have for Trident, we get this warning: this plugin has not been tested. So you want to be careful on this, because if you see something happening, you activate and see something's happening, then you go and deactivate it. And it's just going to scroll down here. So it has 100,000 plus active installations, and it only has 61 reviews. So this one could be a little bit dangerous. But I'm going to go ahead and install it for right now. I may not activate it yet, but I'm going to go ahead and install it. That's besides Yoast, that's one of the plus ones that you want to have. Another one is known as the Classic Editor. Now, the Classic Editor is how you're going to be writing your blog. So this is going to be the plugin that you're using as you're writing your blog. So this is very, very common. I'm going to go ahead and just hit the install button on that one. And then we're going to talk about one last one before we actually get into the blog itself. It is known as Updraft Plus. Now, I'm sure there's other ones out there that could be compatible with this one. It's going to be the second one here. This is what you'll be using, what is known as backing up your website. So what you want to do is you want to make a habit of constantly backing up your website. If y'all remember the days when you used to have a computer file or Word file, say a few years ago, your instructor probably said, make sure you save often. Now you save your work, because I know as you're going along, because if it does not auto save, yes, it is extremely important to have this plugin. Thank you, AJ. So I'm going to go ahead and let's go and look at the learn more. And if you scroll down, it's got 3 million installations. It's got all 5-star reviews out of the last 7,016. So this looks like it's going to be a very safe plugin. So now I'm going to go back to all of my plugins. So I'm just going to hit the plugin button again, and you will see now that I have all-in-one SEO, Classic Editor, one-click accessibility. the 3 SiteGround ones, Updraft Plus, and Backup Restore, and Yoast SEO. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the Updraft Plus. I'm going to not turn on all-in-one. I'm going to turn on the classic editor. And then I'm going to scroll down and turn on Yoast SEO. Okay, so now we've got those 3 plugins are loaded and you're ready to go. When you are going to be, you want to back up your website. The thing is, you want to back up your website before you install any new plugins, or if you're making any kind of drastic changes. And right now, you'll see Updraft Plus just appeared at the top on the top bar. At that point, you just hit the backup restore, and then you can go ahead and back up. Now, and this will be your first time doing it. It's going to ask you, do you want to have it go to your Dropbox account? Do you want to have it go to your email or what have you? And then if you scroll down, you will see here that there are no previous savings. So let me go to my Optimal Performance Academy website. I'm going to hit the Updraft Plus. And you will see that from this one, because I do back up this one fairly frequently, is what needing it to load. And you will see here, I can back it up now, but if I scroll down, you can see on June 12th at 10:19, which was yesterday, I updated it. And then again, it was updated on June 10th because I was playing around with some of my some additional plugins. So, and if something does happen to your computer and it crashes, this is where you would restore a previous version. The last time that was actually working. So this is why you want to have that. Now let's go ahead and go into the actual post itself. Okay. So, so we've already done the settings, and this is the first thing that we covered. We did the settings where your blogs are going to be your website /blogs / the name of the actual post that you're actually creating. Let me go down here. So we've done that, and okay, I want to make sure I'm covering everything. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and start a new blog. So again, we're going to go under where it says, I'm going to have to scroll up. I'm going to have to, and I've already uploaded the image that I'm going to use. And now I'm going to go and actually write my post. I'm going to actually go ahead and write the blog itself. Let me see here. Okay, I have to go back to Yoast SEO and do some of its settings because I just installed it. So let's go down to settings for under Yoast SEO. We're going to hit this settings button. And I'm not going to get rid of these things because I'm not looking to upgrade. As you can see, Yoast SEO does have a premium version. You don't really need that. It says first time configuration. And essentially what you're going to be going through here, there's going to be like 6 or 5 different choices that you want to have. So let me show you what it looks like on a live website. And that way you can take notes on these. So I need to go to my plugins. These are in alphabetical order, so I'm going to go all the way to the bottom and do settings. First time configuration. So whenever you're working on this, on the very first one where it says SEO data optimization, that does not look like we need to do anything. Site representation. Again, I just put in this is going to be organization. So if I were to go here to site representation on the other one, organization, my WordPress, you can leave those as your default. And then you'll probably want to upload your logo here. Now, when you're uploading your logo, you're going to have to, it's going to take you to your media file. So you want to make sure you load up your image to your media file. So that's where this Optimal Performance Academy came from. Once you're done, I'm going to say save changes. social profiles. So on here, I have my Facebook account, my Twitter account, and then I put in a LinkedIn account. So if I'm on here, let me just back out, save and continue. So social profiles, let's just go ahead and say https://www.facebook.com, and I'm just going to use my personal page. And this is I don't have a Twitter account, so I'm going to just say save and continue. Personal preferences, let's see how it's originally set up. Yes, you can track my site data. So go ahead and turn that on. I have nothing else marked. So let's go ahead and say yes, track my site data. I'm not going to put in my email address because I don't want to be part of their newsletter. And then on the final one, finish configuration, how to get most out of SEO, or you can just go to your dashboard. So I'm just going to go to my dashboard just for saving time. So now Yoast SEO is now optimized for your website. As you can see, it's fairly simple. And now I will go to my posts here, and it's not shown up yet, but you're going to be seeing when you go to your posts. Scroll up. So I have so many things. Go to your posts. Eventually you're going to start seeing these little icons. Now, there are two things that you're going to be ranked on. Yoast SEO gives you what you call your SEO score, and then it's also known as what is your readability score. It scores it by 3 different values. It's either going to give you a green light, a yellow light, or a red light. And if you haven't done anything yet, haven't saved it yet, or published it yet, it will be a gray light. So the green light means that you're for each of these categories that you're good to go. When you have an orange light, then that's going to be saying, hey, the SEO is not at its best, but the readability is fine. And these last 2 things are going to be the number of outgoing internal links, and then the second one is going to be the number of internal links. So that reminds me, whenever you write a blog, one of the most important things is that you have at least one external link in your blog that you're linking to, and we'll talk about that in a moment, and also one internal link. The reason being, it helps with what is known as your site map. This is how your website is set up. And it also helps because you want to have internal links from your site referencing other parts of your site. This is where your SEO starts becoming important. Then also, if you do what I do, is I'll get my blog and I'll copy the contents of my blog, and then I'll go and put it in a newsletter, like say on LinkedIn. And by doing that, now I have what's called inbound links coming to your website. And your SEO is all about how many links are referencing to your website. And by the external links that you're going to other sites, that's showing that you are also not only are you helping out other people, but you're showing that your site is actually active. It's not just talk about just one little topic and you're done. So you want to have these links in your website. Now, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and start to write a blog. Now, the typical blog should be between 400 and 700 words. That's your average blog. 500 and 600 is your sweet spot, but if it's a little less, 400-ish words, that's fine. Now, one of the things I sometimes will do is when I'm writing a blog is I won't write the blog inside of WordPress. I will actually write my blog inside of Microsoft Word. Okay. The reason being is it gives me my word count down there in the lower left-hand corner. So that way you can keep track of how many words that you're doing. But I'm going to go ahead and cheat a little bit, and I'm going to write a blog using ChatGPT. It's going to be a complete blog. Now, AJ, since you were so nice to volunteer, give me a topic that you want to write a blog on. It could be about your business mission if you want.
How
Go
about
ahead and pick some general subject. Doesn't really matter. Fantastic. I'm glad you took my notes there, Andrea. No, for those of you that don't have Chat GPT, I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste this into the chat, and you can create this for free. Chat GPT is free. Okay, I just upgraded to the paid version maybe 3 days ago, 3 or 4 days ago. Yes, thank you. So I'm going to go and log into my account, and but you'll see my account is going to be a little bit different than yours because I am using the paid version. Now, whenever you get into the Chat GPT, the free version, you're not going to see these two buttons. Other than that, everything else is well. You'll have some little words and stuff right here, some prompts here in the bottom here, but the free version of Chat GPT is known as the 3.0 version. Okay, well, I was told, and I have not corroborated this, but I was told the the 3.0 version is basically the searching the internet for anything that was like on or before December 31st, 2021. So you have to just be aware of that. Like you can't be saying, "Hey, I want to write a blog on something that the bridge collapsed in Philadelphia." You're probably not going to get anything because that's too recent. So just be aware of that your stuff could be a little bit dated, or you don't want to use current topics whenever you're writing this. Now, one thing that I learned very, very early on, and I've only been using ChatGPT maybe 2.5, maybe 3 months now, is you want to be very, very specific and in the request. So I'm going to say write a 400-700 word blog on creating a business mission. Does that sound good to you? Thumbs up. Is that good for you, Vijay? Okay. So since he mentioned a business vision for the for the image, we're going to do this for the chat as well. So I'm going to hit the enter button. It gives me the title, and it's right now creating my blog for me. And let's assume we're not going to read this yet, but let's assume everything looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and just get everything here. I'm going to hit the Control-C button. Let's go ahead and document 8. I'm going to turn off the normal space. I'm going to go to normal space, and instead of hitting Control-V, I'm going to put the text only so that it takes out all of the background stuff like this. Oops. There we go. So right now, this is a 632 word blog. So right now, like it's the perfect. It's going to be the perfect link. And then I'm going to go ahead and essentially I'm going to write my blog. My blog is going to be written based upon this. Now, obviously, you can write your own blog freehand, and you may want to make some changes. So that this is the suggested title. Now, I know from my own experience, just from doing this, that is too long of a title. So normally, what I do if I'm doing a ChatGPT, I'm going to use it almost completely. I will take off everything after the colon. I'm going to hit Control A, and now I'm going to start writing my blog. Where am I? I'm in the Trident one. There we go. So I'm going to add a new blog. It's going to say you want to give your title. That was not what it did not copy properly. Hitting Control-C, Control-V, crafting a business mission. Let's go back to the Word file, and I'm going to get everything else in this blog. Control-C, come on over, Control-V. Now, it adds these additional spaces, which is fine. We will correct for that. Now, right now, we're in the classic editor. So if I were to go ahead and just save this as a draft, so I'm going to go ahead and just hit save this as a draft so you guys can see a few things. And now I'm going to exit out. So I'm going to go back to all of my posts. You will see I can open this up with what's known as the block editor or the classic editor. If you did not have classic editor downloaded, that plugin, you would not have this option. And to me, the block editor is very, very limiting. So the classic editor is what you want to open this up with. And now notice that the four additional items have now appeared. It's saying right now that the blog does not have the focus keyword is not set yet, and it's not readable. So the SEO is horrible, and it's not very readable as well. So I'm going to go ahead and back in. Normally, you would not just back out to do this, but this is just to give you an idea. Now, the blog is going to be over here on the left-hand side. Some of your basic features that's part of your classic editors on the right-hand side, and then we'll go down a little bit further and to work on things. And then now here's your Yoast SEO. This is how you're going to be ranking. So we're going to be playing around with the blog first, and then we're going to come down to these tabs. And this is the main point of what we're going to be talking about today. So let's go ahead and go back up. Now, if you were to look at this in HTML coding, the title is going to be what's considered a header one title. That means that's the main title. Whenever you are inside of your blog, you never want to use heading one because that's going to conflict with your title. So with any major headings major headings inside your blog, you're going to be starting off as a heading 2. Some people call this an H2. So if those of you that do not know about coding, just trust me, do not ever use heading 1 in the body of your post. So I'm going to go and begin this and just write the word introduction first. And now, whenever you choose, you do not have to have it all highlighted. All you have to do is be somewhere on that line when you choose the heading 2. So you don't have to have everything highlighted for it to actually take effect. And it says here, in the dynamic and competitive landscape of most modern business, having a clear and compelling mission is critical for long-term success. A business mission serves as guiding for blah, blah, blah. So it talks about some nice little things there. Okay, no big deal. Now I'm going to go down here. Now it's going to say step 1, reflect on your core values and beliefs. Now what I may do here is I may create a new heading 1, excuse me, heading 2, and then I'm going to use these as, let's just call this necessary steps. And I'm going to call this a heading 2. And ChatGPT loves to number things. And I'm going to take that step 1 out and just call this heading 3. To create a meaningful mission statement, I start by reflecting on your company's core values and beliefs. What principles do you hold dear? Blah, blah, blah. It talks about a few other things. Since this is the next step, I'm going to take out step 2 again. In this case, I'm going to take out that space, and I'm just going to call this a heading 3, because that's what I call the last one. The next one here, I'm taking that out, and I'm not going to read too much of this blog because this is just as an example. And I'm going to keep doing this until I'm done. Actually, I forgot to take out the space. I'm going to take out that space. Step 4. Take out the space. Heading 3. Step 5. Take out the space. Heading 3. Step 6. Take out the space. Heading 3. Step 7. Take out the space. Take out the space. Heading 3. I'm going to scroll down. In conclusion. So I'm going to go ahead and put down conclusion. I'm going to make this back to a heading 2. And then now there's my blog. My blog has been written. It's been formatted inside the blog. So everything's been done. Normally, if you're going to do this with ChatGPT, you definitely want to read the blog. But right now, let's assume it sounds like you don't have to make any changes. So now I'm going to go up and start talking about these things on the right-hand side. And then we will go down into the Yoast SEO part. On the right-hand side here, we have these different little boxes. The first box is known as your publish. Now you can look at, see what it looks like. We're not really ready for that yet. We can also talk about, do we want this to be a draft or from or a pending preview? Maybe you've written it, but you still want somebody else to read it. That's when you put this into a pending review. Okay, get out of that. But visibility is the same way, and then publish immediately. Now, this is very, very interesting. You can put whatever date that you want to in this publish. I'm going to show you an example of that. Let me go to my posts. And I'm going to go under my categories of podcasts. Oops, I have to go somewhere else. I'm going to go back to the Kevin A Dunlap website. Just go to, and I was doing this over the weekend. I was taking out some of my podcasts. I was resizing some images. And I was changing the format. You will see that this was published on May 5th, 2018. That's not actually true. I created this post 3 days ago, but I can change the date to whatever I want it to be. So if you're wanting to have your your post to come out on a different time, you can do that as well. You can also, where it says publish, that I want it to come out at a future date and time, and then it will hold. It won't come out until a future day. Like say your blogs come out at 9 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday, and today being Tuesday, you could say that this is going to come out on the 14th, and then hit the publish button. So you can change that date and time. Most people just says immediately, so it will get posted with today's date and time. We're not going to hit the publish button yet. Now, if you're done with this post and say, this is complete garbage, at this point you can move it to trash. So all of that is under this first little publish feature. You can also hit this little arrow button to make the boxes go away and just be that one line item. So you do have that control. Format I almost never work with, so I'm just going to minimize that one. Categories. Now, categories are how you're going to be wanting to categorize your website or categorize your blogs. So your categories are going to be like the main topics or the main category that you want it to be in. For an example, let's say if AJ there was writing about mission statements and stuff like that, and he has a lot of things on mission statements, he may put it under this category. And then when somebody is looking at your blog later on, they can actually search by just categories. So if that way you want to have that feature turned on. The second thing is something known as tags. Tags are going to be like your major topics inside your blog. I suggest using a couple of tags per blog, but that's up to you if you want to do it. The next one down from that is editor. We're not going to switch back to the block editor. We're going to keep it in the classic editor. Astra, that just happens to be what this theme is. We're not going to worry about this. But this one here, featured image. This is where that image that we just uploaded about an hour ago, this is how this image is going to get attached to your blog. So I just hit set featured image, and here's the image. Normally you will have a whole bunch of images, but right now, because this is a starter site, I'm going to choose that image. Now, earlier we talked about that thing about being ADA compliant. So we're going to go ahead and make this picture ADA compliant. So over here on the right-hand side, you're going to see that the image is 1920 by 1080 and it's 233 kilobytes. So that's a fairly large image. Just below that, I can hit where it says delete permanently. Now, that delete permanently, depending on your theme, can appear here, or it could appear down here at the very bottom. So just be aware that it can appear in any place. The alt text, this is how would you describe this image to a blind person? So I may say something like two women facing each other. Smiling. So that would be like what the alt text would say. So you want to use whatever you want to there. The title of the image is very important. If you did not change it back here after you got it out from Canva, now you may want to change it to something that's going to be relevant. Business mission. Maybe I'll call it business mission 01. Caption. Caption, unless you want it turned on, I would say never put anything in caption. Okay, so caption, what that means is, what that means is that's going to be wherever your image appears, those little words that come up at the very bottom. That's describing what the image is about. That's what you see in caption. I don't like having all that stuff there because it's very distracting. However, the word description is very, 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 very important. This is another place where you increase your SEO. So you want to make sure that the description, whatever you want to be talking about, let's just show this as an example. Two women talking about their business mission dash a blog by Kevin A Dunlap, or say founder, and I'm going to say this is for Trident Investments, founder of Trident Investments. And by putting your name on all the images, putting your business with all of your images, after some time, when the people are searching for your name or your business name, that image is going to come up referencing your website. So this is another place where your SEO becomes very, very important. When I had my blog, my podcast back in 2017 and 18, I had over 50 people on the podcast. Each person had a picture of them, picture of their business, and one other miscellaneous picture of the podcast itself, a video picture of the podcast itself. All three of them were optimized this way. And then within a few months, I could put in like AJ's name, AJ's first name and last name, and my picture, my name, my website will show up. So this is extremely important for your SEO, is to make sure your description does have something that's referencing you and your website. The next thing is known as the compression level. I want to make these images smaller. I want the resolution to be the same. However, I want to make sure that I'm optimizing, or I'm compressing the file sizes to be as small as possible. The reason being is this how your website loads faster. If you've got a lot of images, let's say you have a store and you had a lot of these 223 kilobyte images on there, it could take several seconds for your website to load. So if I go in there and I hit high, and then that's fine. Notice there is no save button. So at this point in time, this image has been optimized. I've got it chosen. This is going to be what the featured image is going to be. Set feature image, and now there we go. There we go. So right now we're done with the right sidebar. We've written our blog. We've put the heading 2 and heading 3 in there. We've done the categories. We've done the tags. Now we're going to finish this off with the with Yoast SEO. Yoast SEO has four tabs here. 3 of them that you're going to be that you want to pay attention to. One is going to be the SEO and the readability, and then social. Those are the 3 that you really want to pay a lot of attention to. Notice it says this is a red light and a green light. So this says here the readability is fine. So ChatGPT did a good job as far as readability is concerned. However, it says here that this one was that it is poor. It is not optimized for SEO. The first thing that we're going to have to be worried about is this thing known as a focus key phrase. This is going to be a word that your blog is all about. And since if I just type in the word mission as an example, you will see that that this went from a red frowny face to a yellow sideways face. So we're not optimized yet. We're going to optimize this just a little bit more. Now, the next thing is, this is what it's going to look like for a Google preview. This is what your blog's going to look like at the moment as a mobile result. Now, we're going to be playing around with this a lot here, playing with this a lot right now. So I'm going to go slide down a little bit so I can see this image, and then this is the SEO title. It says the title is Crafting a Business Mission, a page separator, and this is site titles. That's what My WordPress. So normally what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take these out, just hitting the backspace button. If I want to include additional ones, I can right there. I'm not going to worry about it at the moment. And I'm going to take out that percent sign. So notice this is what it was going to look like on a Google result. Next comes the word slug. If you gave it a title, as we did up here, crafting a business mission, you will see the slug is also stating that. This will also, when we actually publish this, this is also going to be, we don't have control over this right now. Well, actually, we do. We see that it says blog crafting a business mission. Now, you will see the crafting a business mission is in like a bolded, but everything else is the default that we set up. Remember, we set the /blog in the settings. I can edit this, but I can only edit the highlighted part. However, I'm not going to change that. And I'm going to give AJ I'm going to ask him how he wants to do this. So AJ, do you want the slug is the reference of on your website how this one post is going to be referenced. Now, again, the slug is going to be the mission title, but I can go and change it to something else. Let me actually just type it in as business mission. Now, with the slug, you have to have dashes between if it's going to be more than one word. As you can see, I just changed it to business mission. If I scrolled back up to the top, the URL also changed. Okay, so that slug is controlling how that URL that you're going to be using for your website or for your blog. So I'm going to continue to scroll down. Now notice that this is just, please provide a meta description. So this is the meta description of right there. That meta description is going to be, what is this blog about? Now, you will notice the SEO title that this has a green bar that's about halfway through. If that bar becomes too long, it's going to change yellow or red to warn you that, hey, you need to shorten that name. The same is going to be true in my meta description. You want to give a description like one or two sentences, but you want to make sure that this status bar that's going to show up here in a moment that it is showing to be green. She says a dynamic a business mission, not a problem. So he asked me to change to dynamic dash business mission. I'm going to go back up just to show you that it changed. So it's got dynamic business mission there as well. Business mission may have been too simple because he might be writing on other things that are on business missions for future blogs. Now, for the meta description, I'm going to go ahead and start writing something. You will see the values up here are going to be changing. And notice the picture is the same as the featured image. So I'm going to say in this blog. You already see I just typing those three sentences and a comma. And it's already like 15% of the way through. We talk about building your business mission through 8 steps of whatever it was, of whatever. It doesn't matter what it says, whatever you want it to be. I'm trying to get that bar to be turned green. A blog by Kevin A Dunlap. So I want to keep it green. Now, if I put in too many, it's going to go red. So you'll see if I just talk. So that's right now saying the slug is, or excuse me, the meta description is too long. Now, one of the other things that you want to make sure you have is you want to have your focus keyword in your meta description as well. That's going to help you with your SEO. So right now that business mission is inside the picture, it's inside the blog, it's the slug, it's inside the keywords, and it's inside the meta description. So I'm putting it everywhere that I can. But notice I still am yellow. So at this point, it gives me a down arrow, and it's going to tell me these are the things that we are suggesting that you should do in order to actually make your blog look better. So I hit that little down arrow, and I'm going to scroll down and read it. It says there's no outbound links, there's no inbound links. So I'm going to put in 2 links in here, and it doesn't matter where you put them. Visit our home page. As an example, I'm just going to put this is an irrelevant link. So you want to make sure that your links are relevant. And I'm going to highlight this, and I'm going to go hit that little arrow, that little paper clip there, and now I'm going to type in www.tridentinvestmentsllc.com, which is the homepage of this website. I'll go over here and click on this gear icon. This becomes I don't know why it didn't show up, but let's go ahead and just copy this. So one of the things you always want to do is on anything that you do on your website, it doesn't matter if it's on a page or on a post, if you're having them click on a link, have it always open in a new tab. Now, if you don't have it do that, that means if they're reading this blog and they click on it, that blog goes away and it goes to wherever that link is. So you always want to make sure you open in a new tab. The thing is, you want to have your tab available so they can get back to it as easy as possible instead of having to hit the back button. Go ahead and hit the add link. Now you'll see Yoast SEO is still yellow over here on the right-hand side. So I still need an outbound link. So let's go up here to the top and a modern business mission. I'm going to get this link here. And in this case, one of my favorite websites to go to, because whenever you go to an outbound link, you want to go to a reputable website. To me, one of the most reputable websites is Wikipedia. And I go type in the word business mission. And see, it says it does not exist. So let me change to something else. Search. I'm going to just type in a mission statement as an example. So here is something on a mission statement. Click, highlight the URL. Control C to copy it. And which tab is it? Is this one here? And now I'm going to do the same thing by by making that link go. Hit the gear, make sure it's going to a new tab, update, and this will probably change to a green. It didn't quite change to a green yet. So our goal is to get that to become green. So what else is it suggesting that we do? Key phrase density. It says that we've used the word, the keyword, the mission 21 times. So let me see if I can change that to business mission. See if that, it says that we overused it. So notice it just turned green. So it's just toying around. You would not have noticed this if you were writing this without Yoast SEO, because Yoast is giving you all of those all of that great information. We've got other ones that are still red, but right now you can try and fix those. That's perfectly fine. But right now, since I got the green light, I'm not going to worry about it. Now we're going to go over to readability. Even though this is showing green, sometimes you will see other things in here like transition words or your passive voice or something like that. Those will come up. One of the most common ones that comes up is going to be you started 3 sentences in a row with the same word. Like, so say you started 3 sentences with the word he or she. So that may give you those flags as well. But let's just look at this. We use a transition words 8.5% of the sentences, which is not enough. It gives you this little eyeball. When you click on the eyeball, it's going to actually turn purple, and then it's going to show you exactly where this is going on. Okay, just be aware that once you start typing, I'm going to try to put something after the word additionally. So I clicked on it, but you want to make sure you click on it at least twice and the cursor appears there. Notice all the purple went away. And if I were to scroll back down, the eyeball is still turned on. So if you want to go check it a second time, you have to turn it off and then turn it back on. I don't know if that's a bug or whatever. That is one little thing that Yoast SEO has a problem with. So let's go ahead and force something. Let's force an error. He creating, he as, and then where's the third sentence? He regularly. So I just deliberately set 3 sentences off with the same word. I will come down here and notice readability is now orange. And it will say consecutive sentences. The text contains 3 consecutive sentences starting with the same word. I'm going to turn that one off and turn that one on. I'll scroll back up and it will show you what those 3 sentences are. So that is the beauty of, whoops, I just, as you can see, okay. I didn't click twice, so the cursor defaulted to the very beginning. So I need to go find those sentences again. There they are. I'm going to go and take them all. Now, one thing I would strongly suggest that you do as an also as a benefit to you is to, if you're using a Chrome browser or you're using Microsoft Edge, is to actually get a extension that is known as Grammarly. Because Grammarly will check for misspellings or in your sentences. So right now, every once in a while, you will see, even though ChatGPT wrote this, you will get grammatical errors. So Grammarly is a great extension that you can use. Also, you can probably even find it when you had it in Microsoft Word if there was any red underlines of something that was misspelled or used incorrectly. So at this point in time, we have our blog. It actually it's past the SEO criteria, it's past the readability, but we still got to go over here and fix the social. This is the last thing that we're going to be doing. So under social, you will see that there's a Facebook as well as a Twitter. The default is going to be blank. Now, what you want to do is, let's say if I was to share this URL onto Facebook, it's not going to have that image. So we're going to have to go in there and actually create the image as well as the Facebook description. Now, just to save time, and this is something I actually do, is I will go back to SEO. I will scroll back down and I'll get this meta description. Hit Control C for copy. Scroll back up. Go to social, and then I'm going to choose the image and I'm going to use the meta description as the Facebook description. So go ahead and select the image. There you go. The alt text and everything is still there, which is fine. Facebook description, hit Control V. Oops, it did not take it for whatever reason. So let me go back to SEO and get the meta description a second time. Control C, make sure I hit that. Scroll back up to social. Control A, Control V. I'm going to go down here and do the same thing for Twitter. Select image. Select that. Now, this you're going to be able to do on both your posts as well as your pages. So just be aware of this. And then I'm going to go scroll all the way to the very top. And I'm going to get this, this title. Control C. Scroll back down to the bottom. Facebook title. Control V. Twitter title. Control V. At this point in time, you're one step away from being done. We see everything is good. I'm going to go ahead and hit the publish button. You see this little scrolly thing goes on, and now we have it. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and just copy, or just click on it. It's going to open up in a new tab. And it may be because I don't have all the formatting done with all the other plugins. This one, the image is not showing up on top. However, in the end, if you were to do, like if I were to go and look at my last post that I just did, which has 2 green lights, by the way. So I have this here, and as you can see, I have all the topics in there. I have the H3 heading 3, heading 2s. I have some of my categories that I have for this active blog. Let me scroll to the top, see. Okay, so here's where I have SEO, Yoast SEO. And if I were to maximize the screen here, Yoast SEO, oh, I guess you can't see it. That's going to be to a Wikipedia link. So if I can I click on that, hit edit, you see this Yoast. This is taken to the Yoast SEO website in this particular case. So that's my external link. Achieving online success. That's my internal link. So as you can see, I am doing what basically what I'm sharing with you guys. As you can see, this is the image that I'm using. If I scroll down, you will see SEO. Yeah, maximizing your website's potential with Yoast SEO. The title is a little bit longer. Scrolling down a little bit more, the slug is, since I've already saved it, it's up here. It's Yoast-SEO. Scrolling down further, meta description. It's going to scroll up just a little bit. So Yoast SEO is a WordPress plugin that any business can use to increase organic traffic to a person's website in both pages and blog posts. You'll notice I'm like 1 or 2 characters away from going orange. So I'm 1 character away from going orange. But that's exactly what it says here as well. Going back up to the tabs, the readability, it was fine. It says 32.7% of the sentences contain more than 20 words, which is more than the recommended 25%. I could go and try and fix that. I will hit the orange button to look at where it is. And those are all those sentences that I may want to shorten. Right now, I don't care about it because I already got the green light. And then I can go to social. There's the image. It's the same image. If I hit that, it's the same image right there's the most recent one that I uploaded. I'm going to just X out of this one. Maximizing your potential. Yoast SEO is a WordPress plugin. You'll see the Facebook and Twitter is all the same. If I were to go to my website, this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to go to blogs. And then you'll see there's the image. My default is 25 words. Let me go ahead and just click on the actual blog itself. And this is what it looks like. Now I've got a couple of extra little default things on the right hand side. That's another setting in WordPress. But you can see there's my actual blog. Okay, so that's essentially how you work on a blog, or how to make it a SEO compatible. Any questions so far? Because I want to show you one more thing, and I will share it in the chat as well. What any questions so far? AJ, MJ? Okay, so I'm going to work on one more thing. And it's going to be going back to the settings. I'm going to do it on my blog itself, and then I'm going to copy paste this stuff over. There's this thing that to help you again increase your to increase your SEO is to go back to your settings, and you'll have all of these settings here. Is at the very bottom is going to be, actually nope, it's not there. Let me see, where's it? I did want to cover this, but where is it at? The permalinks. I believe it's under the permalinks section. Yes, it is. Nope, no, it's not. I forget what this is at the moment, AJ, for the pinging, or if you want to ping. That was under permalinks.
Which part are you trying to figure out here?
I don't think he can hear you.
Oh yeah, AJ, we couldn't hear you if you were talking. Oh, here we go. Under settings, under writing, you want to do these things called a ping. Now, whenever you are writing your WordPress, or whenever you're creating your account, if I were to go under settings and then go under writing, at the very bottom is that this is where when you publish a new post, WordPress automatically notifies the following sites update services. For more about this, see the update service documentation article, separate multiple service URLs with line breaks. So essentially, this is what I want to show. What is a ping? So whenever you create a blog, you want to actually go ahead and ping it on a whole bunch of different websites. And what a ping is a technique used by blogs to notify one or more servers whenever a blog is updated. Now, this will occur when you create this, and then anytime you do updates. Now, this is going to again help with your SEO. Whenever you're getting started with a brand new WordPress site, it's going to be putting this on rpc.pingomatic.com. However, there are a number of other ones that you're going to use. So I'm going to go ahead the ones that I was shown to use. I'm going to again under settings, under writing at the very bottom, which is update services. I'm going to actually put all of these into the chat. So I hit Control A, Control C, and you may want to write these down or at least save the chat. So you want to copy these and put those into your settings. So these are just different other sites that are now being notified that you just wrote this blog. And again, that's just going to allow other people to notice who you are, as well as, again, help you with your SEO. Okay, you use right math. Okay, so that's so I guess I just kind of answered AJ's question. So these are the ones that you want to save. And the thing is, once you put it in there once, you never have to touch it ever again. This is a one-time and done thing that you do. Now this is pretty much it as far as what I was going to be covering. Are there any other questions that you might have, or any places that you had a question that you would like to get more clarity on? I know I have a tendency to go fast or cover a lot of information. Now, for MJ and Andrea, are you guys considering having a WordPress website?
Hi, it's MJ. So I do have a WordPress website. I meant to raise my hand earlier. So this has been very helpful. I'm actually going through and updating while I'm watching.
Okay. Well, for the settings, I mean, it's mainly just the under the writing and then under the permalinks. And to me, the permalinks is if you've got a younger blog, going under the custom structure and putting something there, that way your blog posts are separated from your website web pages. So that way you just keeping them separate. But one of the problems is if you don't do that, if you decide to change it later on, and then you go and do that, then if you did like me, you have one blog post referencing another blog post, you got to go and update that manually for each one. And then if you shared that blog onto other websites, like you copy pasted it to another website like LinkedIn newsletter, you got to go in there and change those as well. So that can become tedious if you've got, let's say, a lot of pages or posts.
Yeah, that was a great tip. I actually haven't started the blog aspect of it yet, so this was perfect timing.
Okay. AJ asked me to put in the meetup link. Okay, there you go. Now, I'm going to go one step further to show you what I do, and this is and I know Andrea follows me a lot on this. Is let's say I'm done with this post, and I'm going to go with an older post that is not on LinkedIn right now. Let me go with. See, this one is still in draft mode. So I'm going to go to my LinkedIn account. I'm closing these tabs while I'm doing that. And I'm going to go to my newsletter. I'm going to ask you guys to go ahead and please follow my newsletter. So right now I've got what 219 subscribers. And now, if I wanted to get this blog and I wanted to share it on, as a LinkedIn newsletter, I will show you the basics of doing that right now. I just want to make sure I don't already have this. Use time management. Was that one? So one of the things I could do is I will go to my post and establishing a business credit. So I'm going to go look at this under the classic editor. And I make Control A, Control C. So I'm copying everything that's in the newsletter. I'm going to go to LinkedIn. I'm going to create a new edition. I'll go down here, hit Control V, go to the headline, go back to the thing here. Get this, establishing business credit. Control C. And since I have not saved this this thing yet, I need to see I want to see what image that I was using for the blog. So establishing business credits. This is a professional woman. I've used this picture in other places before. So I'm just gonna go back to Unsplash. Oops. There it is. As you can see, I do use Unsplash a lot. Download. I'm going to make this smaller so I can get to my background. Go there. There she is. And go to Canva. Create a design. Presentation web. Move her over. Stretch it so it's all the whole white background is done. I went over the side a little bit, but that's no big deal. Download. Make sure it's the JPEG. Download. It's going to appear right here. There she is. I'm going to change this to professional woman. Rename. Go back here. I believe I have to hit the upload button. It's on my desktop. Professional woman. Open. Go to the bottom. Now with LinkedIn newsletter, I would normally, and I'm not going to do this here, but I would do another section that says about the author, and I've got that already pre-written somewhere else. But right now, I'm just going to say this was on business credit, right? I'll always use my name and the name of my company as some of the hashtags. Hit the next button. Okay, thank you. Thanks, AJ. And publish. So now I'm not going to share it on Facebook or Twitter yet. I'll do that at a different time. Now I've got my 15th article has been released. 219 people are going to be told about it, and I've already got at least one inbound link to my website inside this article. So now I'm now just create another backlink to my website using the blog that I just created. In this case, that I wrote a while ago. but let's just say you just got finished with your blog, shared it onto your website. Now you're using that internal link that you had in the blog is now an inbound link from another website. So, and that's more SEO right there for you.